But for now, let's talk about country number 9 of the evening. Thank you, Arno. I always need you for that. And I need to bring up, what is it? Oh, yeah, it is Switzerland. And the country that gave us Celine Dion, the most recent victory, by the way. That is kind of crazy. Switzerland has had 3 successful participation, meaning they made it 3 times in a row to the grand final out of the semis, and they hope to continue that streak. So they are sending Remo Forrer and to the contest with the song Watergun, a title that makes you think, oh, fun song, but it's basically the opposite. Song described as a power ballad about powerlessness in the face of conflicts in this world. And now, is it quality or schmality? And we are here to discuss this one. Connor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so on a similar note to what we just covered, or I just covered in Greece, I feel similarly about Switzerland. If you take this song out of Eurovision, I feel kind of good about it. I'm not like gonna go home and like, scream to the mountains about it, but it's relatively fine. I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to just mention that to me, it sounds like a slightly tone deaf message to send in this year. I think it's a very interesting choice, especially from Switzerland, the country of neutrality, to take this stance in a year when we are going through such political climate. So it's for that reason that like there's a part of me that wants to like it. And I really want to like Remo Forrer. And I think a large part of my score is based off of him and not 100% the song. But I think that there might have been better songs and better messages to have sent with him to Eurovision than this one. So that's my positive spin on it. I do like the singer and I do like qualities of it, but I think it's really the message for me that really makes it, I guess, awkward, I guess.
That's okay. That's just how it goes sometimes. Arno, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Connor on the message of the song, which is, it feels like it was their excuse to go to Eurovision with that kind of genre of music. They really wanted to deliver this message, but it feels awkward at this time for Eurovision this year, even though it's of course a great message, but everyone basically sings it in a way or has already done that, so it feels awkward to do it this late. And talking about late timing, I think the song, the ending is great, is powerful, is feels a bit special and more different, but it takes a long time to go there. The literally the first 2/3 of the song are, I don't know, are predictable to me. There you know what's gonna happen until there's the bridge in the end where you're like, oh, that's great, but the song is almost over and we are starting to enjoy it a bit too late to me.
Okay. Too little, too late, basically, is Arno's message here. James, your thoughts?
Ali H in the comments said it perfectly. And yeah, again, this is kind of just repeating what Connor and Arno said. Yeah, the Swiss broadcaster really didn't read the room here. There are times and places for these sort of songs. 1982, Nicole, perfect time, perfect song. The one it won. Then this entreaty to peace kind of comes off as insulting to Ukraine and their allies. Like some from their position, they're seeing somebody from the vaulted rich throne of Switzerland lecturing them on pacifism. And I myself come from a pacifist religious tradition, so I can sentimentalize with it to some degree. But yeah, I'm not going to be lecturing Ukrainians on if only you and Vaslav across the border there in Russia, if only you just put down your guns, we'd be all happy place. Or if only the leaders had not done this. So yeah, my big beef with this is definitely the tone deaf messaging, and then again that weird modern swallowed pronunciation. Remo pronouncing front is front and tank is tank. It really grinds my gears when singers pronounce stuff like that. So
Okay.
and yeah, and as Arno alluded to, this song just drags on. It feels longer than it's 3 minutes.
All right. Well, it's the luck of the draw, by the way the songs were put in this group, but it was just a very strong group to me. So, by the way, in 2023, it's just not the year of ballads to me, and I love ballads, but there's just not much out there for me to get excited over the ballads this year. But I don't get why we keep picking on Switzerland this year. This is to me actually a very, very well written song. It's a nice vocalist and a very pretty melody. I hear what you're saying about what you perceive as being a tone deaf delivery here. I listened to the song in a silo, to me, just as its own merit, not as what's happening in the world, because I just thought that the chorus is very strong, and I'm very much into the orchestration, and it reminds me a little bit because I've listened to a version like years ago of Titanium, like a ballad version, and it's melodically very similar. And I just really click with it. It's one of my favorite songs, Titanium. So maybe that's why I'm gravitating towards it. It has a nice build, and I know Watergun is a tough semi. It's going to be a rough ride for them, but I'm still at the point where I'm not counting them out. People will. This has a much broader televote appeal than their last effort, Boys Do Cry, I think. It's just a tough semi. If we had juries, this would fly through. I wouldn't even contemplate this one. I really like it. If it were up to me, Switzerland would make it to the finals. But this is not a prediction. This is my own personal taste. So I hear what you're all saying. I just did not perceive it the same way. I feel as I didn't feel that way. That wasn't my perception. But that's a beauty about music. That's how people perceive it. And that's exactly what music does. It's an emotional connection. So let's get into the scores here and see where we end up. I'm not feeling too good about this, but we shall see. Connor, what's your score?
Yeah, so despite having that critique, again, I want to compliment the songwriters for they did write a very well orchestrated track. It has movement, it has momentum, it has story behind it. I think for me, what really perhaps subtracts a point here or there is really just the general message. And I know that you could receive this message at any point in time, but perhaps this was just not the year to tell that message. And then also, I'm really confused on what's happening staging wise with Sasha Jean-Baptiste and dancers, but we'll see how this all plays out. I gave it a solid 7.
That.
Yes, by the way, that's happening. A solid 7,
no.
But very much like my comments with Greece, this does exist in that little caveat at the very bottom of the 7s, bordering my wild card selections.
All right. Arno.
I gave it a quite good 5.5. I was like 5.5.
5.5.
5.5. It's 10 p.m. here. But yeah, basically what Connor said, it's still there still has been a decent work behind the creation of the song, but something, it's just some elements fall flat and some enhance the song. So
Okay, James.
All right, I'm the miserable old bastard on the team, so I preface that, and I'm going to repeat what I said in the Greece video. Yes, Switzerland are trying something here. The Ukrainians and the Georgians I speak to did not receive this song very well. The reflexive response was F off. But those are just the people I know. Patrick may know others who embrace it. And yeah, as you say, you receive the song at different points in time. And yeah, some people could feel differently. But again, I'll repeat what I said with Greece. I do feel bad giving a low score for something that tries hard and flops. versus again a cynical dumpster fire like Poland. And so in that sense,
again, I knew you're going to bring it to Poland.
so in that sense, I actually feel very bad that I gave it the same score as Poland, 2.
Oh, ouchie. Okay. Yeah, so mine will be a little higher, significantly higher, I think. And as pointed out, I'm not just giving high scores for the sake of it. It just happens to be, trust me, there will be other songs in the other groups that will be less good. I'm trying to come up with a better word. But I really like this. I listened to Switzerland. I enjoyed one of the strongest ballads this year. I'm clicking with it, and I'm giving it 8 points. So hopefully I'll help to bring up the score a little bit, which I'm going to share with you in just 2 hot seconds. And any thoughts about the song in the chat, of course, or about the score. I'm not too optimistic about the score, so well, I already know it already. So, but here for the rest of the team and everybody else, here is Switzerland in our ranking. 5.20, so just a little bit below Greece, but certainly higher than Poland. But overall, one of the less ideal scores. As said, I knew this was going to happen before I even added up the scores. I know that this is not clicking with people as much as maybe they thought they would. I do think that Switzerland is almost falling to the same trap as the Netherlands, just keeping ballads and hoping people connect with it. And clearly that doesn't always work. I still have hopes for Switzerland. I like the song, but yeah, it's not looking good within the bubble. What do you think, Connor?
I probably agree with the chat. I don't know if I would put it below Greece personally. But I think that the big picture here and perhaps a lesson to be learned is that Switzerland is taking a very critical approach at very serious topics, and maybe we just want something fun, you know?
I think so.
Maybe that's the piece that's not connecting, because I think the problem with this song is that people love it or people don't. And so you have this aggregate, which is probably happening in here, where you end up in the middle across a bunch of people. And in a televote year, that's really scary, because you can't, if you're 0 on a bunch of ranks and 12, you might still not qualify. You come 11th and you're out. So
that is true, but at the same time, you'd rather want to be polarizing than just in the middle. You know what I mean? And because otherwise you don't want to just be liked and then nobody votes for the song because it's just liked enough but not worthy of any televotes. So I'd rather have a polarizing kind of situation where people put it dead last, because you don't rank in televote like you do and like the juries do. And I do think that Switzerland has a much bigger appeal to in the non-bubble, especially because the bubble, I think it's fair to say overall is on the younger side. And I think Switzerland's song could be more appealing also to a more I wouldn't say advanced age. It sounds kind of condescending, but certainly not like the 20-something or like the teens. I think more like 30, 40, 50, 60s people could be appreciative of that song a little bit more. So that I think Switzerland could survive the semi, but that's also just speculation. But yeah, overall, let's see some comments here. A more mature audience. Thank you, Osiros. I just tried to think on the spot. I couldn't come up with anything. I'm kind of part of it now, so I should know. And oh, by the way, somebody has to throw that out there for you, Connor. Listen to your interview, by the way, and you listen to your interview and listen to what you actually said, and then come back. I don't know what that meant. Do you remember what you said?
What I said, and I don't quote because sometimes one blinks out in the middle of an interview, but it's about the Sasha Jean-Baptiste in the dancers. I trust her in the direction and the vision that clearly there's something out there and they have a vision for it. I'm just not sure that I understand what the vision is. I think it's the dancers. I trust Sasha Jean-Baptiste. She's very great. It's the dancers for me in this song that I'm not 100% sure how that's all going to fit in, but they can surprise me. So,